So, welcome to Unit 5. Only one more week of class to go. This is Unit 5's live session. We are taking a look today at, first look at classes. Let me open this up a little bit. There we go. So what are classes? Well, this week we're discussing the following main topics: objects and classes, writing a simple class step by step, instance fields and methods, constructors, passing objects as arguments, overloading methods and constructors, scope of instance fields, packages, and import statements. Objects and classes. An object exists in memory and performs a specific task. Objects have two general capabilities. Objects can store data, and objects can perform operations. The operations that an object performs is known as methods. The pieces of data stored in an object are known as fields. You already used the following objects: scanner, random, print writer. When a program needs the services of a particular type of object, excuse me, it creates an object in memory and then calls that object's methods as necessary. Classes. Classes are where objects come from. A class is a code that describes a particular type of object. It specifies the data that an object can hold, the object's fields, and the actions that an object can perform, the object's methods. You can think of a class as a code, a blueprint, that can be used to create a particular type of object. When a program is running, it can use the class to create in memory as many objects of a specific type as needed. Each object that is created from a class is called an instance of the class. Objects and classes. This expression creates a scanner object in memory. This is an example of a scanner object. Note that the object's memory address is assigned to the keyboard variable. Keyboard variable. This is an example of a random object in memory. The object's memory address is assigned to the rand variable. This is an example of a print writer object in memory. This time, the object's memory address is assigned to the output file variable. The Java API provides many classes. So far, the classes that you have created are objects from or provided by the Java API. You've created scanner, random, and print writer. So writing a class step by step. A rectangle object will have the following fields: length and width. The rectangle class will also have the following methods: set length, set width, get length, get width, and get area. Unified Modeling Language provides a set of standard diagrams for graphically depicting object-oriented systems. The class name goes here. The fields are listed there, and you see where the methods are listed. Here's a good example. The rectangle, the length and the width. You set the length, you set the width, get length, and get width, get the area. This is an example of writing of the code for a rectangle class. What's an access specifier? It's a Java keyword that indicates how a field or method can be accessed: public or private. It sets the header. Sets the length. This is how you create a rectangle object. The box variable holds the address of the rectangle object. This is how you call the setLength method. This is how you write the getLength method. So this is demonstrating the getArea method. So accessors and mutator methods, because of the concept of data hiding, fields in a class are private. Methods that retrieve data of fields are called accessors. Methods that modify the data of fields are called mutators. Each field that the programmer wishes to be viewed by the other classes needs an accessor. Each field that the programmer wishes to be modified by other classes needs a mutator. So this shows an example of the accessors and the mutators for a rectangle. What is data hiding? Well, data hiding, an object hides its internal private fields from the code that is outside the class that the object is an instance of. Only the class's methods may directly access and make changes to the object's internal data. Code outside the class must use the class's public methods to operate on the object's private field. Data hiding is important because classes are typically used as components in large software systems involving a team of programmers. Data hiding helps enforce the integrity of an object's internal data. Talks about stale data. To avoid stale data, it's best to calculate the value of the data within a method rather than stored in a variable. Example. So UML diagrams are language independent. UML diagrams use an independent notation to show return types, access modifiers, so this is putting all information together. A Java class file can be built easily using the UML diagram. The UML diagram parts match the Java class file structure. You see the class name, you see the fields, and you see the methods. So this is how you convert the UML diagram to code. So this is an example of class layout conventions. The common layout is fields listed first, methods listed second. Accessors and mutators are typically grouped under the methods. And there are tools that can help in formatting layout to certain standards. Fields and methods that are declared as previously shown are called instant fields and instant methods. Instant methods are methods that are not declared with a special keyword, static. So this is the state of 3 different rectangle objects. Take a look at the kitchen variable, the bedroom variable, and the den variable. Classes can have special methods called constructors. A constructor is a method that is automatically called when an object is created. Constructors are used to perform operation at the time an object is created. Constructors typically initialize instances of fields from other object initialization tasks. This is a constructor for a rectangle class. This is the most common way constructors are defined in UML. So when an object is created, its constructor is always called. If you do not write a constructor, Java provides one when the class is compiled. The constructor that Java provides is known as the default constructor. A default constructor is a constructor with no parameters. It is used to initialize an object in a default configuration. A default constructor will not be provided by Java if a constructor is already written. Example of the string class constructor. It's how you pass an object as an argument. Two or more methods in a class may have the same name as long as their parameter lists are different. When this occurs, it's called method overloading. This also applies to constructors. Method overloading is important because sometimes you need several different ways to perform the same operation. This is an example of method overloading by a bank account. What is shadowing? Let's go back one. So a method may have a local variable with the same name as the instance field. That's called shadowing. The local variable will hide the value of the instance field. Shadowing is discouraged, and local variables' names should not be the same as instance field names. This talks about packages and import statements. These are some standard Java packages. Java applet, AWT, IO, language, net, security, SQL, text, utility, really, util, and swing. Object-oriented design, finding classes and responsibilities, finding the class, get written description of the problem domain, identify all nouns, each is a potential class, refine the list to include only classes relevant to the problem, identify the responsibilities. What is the class responsible for knowing? What is the class responsible for doing? You refine your list to include only classes relevant to the problem. And then you identify the responsibilities. So that's a little bit about classes and objects. Chapter 8 also goes into a little more detail into classes. Again, this is week 5 live session. One more week to go in the class. Hope everybody has a great weekend. We'll talk to you soon.